Right, what we're doing today, it's victim.
All day. Hello, people.
Morning. And now I'm going to turn it so that you can see me. Because she's been playing about on things.
It's been bugging her because I couldn't do my things there because I had to go over like this.
It's not bugged me, it's bugged her. And not that we'd ever play dual childish. Right, we're on victim today. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 4 of our 5-day challenge on shadow alchemy and how it can help in improving your relationships.
And thanks to everybody who joined us last night to learn all about
we did.
To learn all about the sovereign and the sovereign energy. So just to remind you that you have the ability to make all the decisions that you need to do about your life. Done.
And let's just make the statement for everybody so that you can get this one. And okay. It's one that Linda shared last night, but it's nice to just do a repeat and it feels good to do so. Right, I am a sovereign being who has the ability to decide what I want in life, the inspiration and intuition to know what to do, the strength and determination to do what needs doing, and the absolute certainty that I deserve the best that life has to offer.
And so that's the amalgamation of all of the
Council of Gold, the Council of Truth.
The Council of Truth statements. So that you can
use them as gold.
Oh, I like the Council of Gold. That's nice too. So there we go. So today's conversation is about the come on up, share screen.
The victim pillar.
Yep.
And so we're going to the Council of Lies.
We're back into the Council of Lies now, looking at the 4. We've done prostitute. We've got 1 or 2 of you in here.
We've done child, and we've got quite a few of them.
And now we're on to victim. So what is the victim consciousness within the shadow?
All right, well, when we talk about all of the different archetypes, and as I explained yesterday, there are sub-archetypes within the overall column of the victim. And those sub-archetypes include the bully, the saviour, the rescuer, the victim, the martyr, the activist, and the coward. So all of these, whenever you're in any of these types of consciousness, you are in the shadow consciousness of victim.
So let's have
so everybody that gets into activism, everybody that gets into saving the world, everybody that gets into rescuing others, it is shadow consciousness, because there is only one person and one person only that you are here to save, because none of us need saving, and that's you.
So there's only one person you're responsible for.
Yeah, and that's
there's only one person who's sovereign and makes the decisions,
and that's you.
So there you go. So how does the victim emerge? It's this thing about justice that we've said, and it's also boundaries. And it's this issue about boundaries, and we're talking about relationships, and boundaries in relationships are the ones where most people can be fluid, and sometimes they're just not fluid at all, they're splattered down. So it's the things where I'm going to go on about what they do, because we talked last night. Oh, well, no, I won't. I'll do that later. But it's the boundaries, and the boundaries are where you decide who you are, where your prostitute energy, if you aren't in lover, is broken. So that's when you've got poor boundaries. I'm trying to think of the example between, it's that lover and overlap. It's that prostitute overlap with the victim that frequently cocks up lots and lots of relationships.
When you don't think that you're worthy, then you allow people to trample on you, is essentially the example that Linda's looking for.
That's what I'm trying to say. But it must be something about first demonials. My tongue's not gone into order. So there you go.
Right, and when we're in victim consciousness, we actually, many of you will have heard of the drama triangle, but when we're in victim consciousness, so all of those 3 that take you out of your own personal power and out of your own personal truth, then you are in victim shadow consciousness. So it is the rescuer, the victim, and the persecutor. All 3 energies are part and parcel of the victim shadow consciousness. And it is, so as we'd say, so for every victim, you have to have something that they are victim to. Now, you may be victim to another human being, or you may be victim to your work. You may be victim to, what else can you be victim to?
Yeah, you can be victim to your business.
Yeah.
You can be a victim to your beliefs about yourself.
Yeah.
And you can just, well, I was the best victim in the whole wide world. And the other thing that victims are very, very good at is manipulating, because they're seriously good at making themselves the poor me victim by putting the other person into perpetrator. And even if they're not a perpetrator, it was a dynamic that was so strong between myself and my husband that this was where I lived for 20 years, 22 years. Because 23 years. Yeah. So within that, it was my ability. I was so good at being able to draw him in to make him look like he was at fault and the perpetrator. And it's wherever there's blame, and blame's the issue. And poor soul, he still hasn't recognized I'm not doing that dance anymore in the same way. So he still does say, well, whatever happens, I'll be to blame, won't I?
Yeah.
Because he used to be.
Without, yeah.
He used to be, because I was really good at making him the perpetrator. And if he was being nice to me, I'd wind him in so that I could become a victim again when he started. And it really, really is damaging within relationships. So one of the things that we want to make clear here, we aren't out here to make you leave your husband or leave your partner or do something different. It's about leaving the partner that's not right for you, because that's what your sovereign says. And it's also about setting boundaries so that you can discover whether that partner's the right partner for you and how the dance changes when you change. So we want to be really clear about that there are lots of options and outcomes that can come once you deal with your shadow consciousness.
And I played it last night for somebody else, and I'll play it, and I'll actually play that. I'll post the video of one of our clients his dance was with his mother and with a codependency within their relationship. And they are both now in so much of a better place since he has cleared this victim shadow consciousness that was the one that was perpetuating their codependency.
And the thing that happens if you repress this is illness. And it can either be physical illness or mental illness. It's when you're operating from this perspective that your body goes, oh, I can get you out by doing this. Anyone who has an illness will be operating at some level as victim to that illness.
And within the victim consciousness, I agree.
And
it's either energetically using the illness to get what they want, or being victim to the illness, as Linda says, so that they don't do and achieve what they want to achieve because they're ill.
Yeah, and sometimes it becomes that secondary gain, because being a victim, as I played so long and so often, actually
gets your attention
and gets you what you want in some places.
And gets your sympathy. Oh, poor
and sometimes
love.
Gets you money.
What a shame.
And sometimes gets you money.
Yeah.
And certainly if you've got cancer, you get the look.
Yeah.
Oh, I am sorry. Why? That's the sort of thing that comes out when it's victim and victim energy. So let's look at what victims say and believe and do. So what they believe, as Wendy's just said.
Poor me. Anything energetically that carries poor me underneath it, or feeling sorry for yourself, is victim consciousness. The victim believes they have no control, or they are over controlling, as in the bully type of, that they need to be in control at all times in all things to kind of keep it together.
Oh, I've not thought about that. Yeah. And there are no options. So yeah, there are no options, because I can't do that because of this.
And what happens if, and the victims are incredibly good at what happens if and stating the negative outcomes.
And if I leave, he'll come after me.
Yeah.
There's no point in doing that, because it makes no difference. It's all those sorts of things.
Yeah. And it is the drama. So when we call it the drama triangle, we do mean drama. And Linda was one of the best drama queens that I've ever met.
Yeah, and it's also my fault if people. It's my fault if people pick on me. It's my fault if people are nasty to me, and sometimes.
And it's wherever there is a fault, you're in victim consciousness. Because if you're looking to blame, and blame is about somebody doing something wrong, which means that there's something that's gone wrong, which means that there is some kind of victim consciousness at the back of it.
So that's what the victim.
So you can make mistakes and you can make errors and you can do the wrong thing that isn't about fault.
Yeah.
And it's your fault also can come under, depending on what the energy is underneath it, child.
Yeah, because this is what we were saying late last night about the things about child, victim. When we were showing it, she showed hand in hand, because they often
do come hand in hand, child and victim. And it's kind of, so this is why when we do our program, when we're doing the coaching intensive, it's the word I couldn't remember, intensive. When we're doing our intensive program, we have the knack and the ability to kind of dive deep in between. Which one is it? What is it that's underlying it? And it's difficult to do that on your own.
Okay, so what do victims believe? What do victims say? He treats me like a doormat.
Yeah. I don't want to be a burden.
Why does it always happen to me?
Who helps me?
Why me?
Yeah, why me? Big. I do it for the kids, for my mum, anybody but me.
Yep. And it is that thing that you do, because I can remember going into victim mentality when I had cancer, going, why me? God, why are you doing this to me? Because you can be victim to God as well.
Yeah.
You know, when you do it, I used to do it so well, I could be victim to anything. Yeah.
And what do? Well, they have poor boundaries and they're not good at holding the boundaries. And sometimes victims also have very rigid boundaries that are intractable and immovable and don't flex or flow with the situation. They'll allow others to trample on them, and that is metaphorically as well as physically.
Yeah, it's things like when we were in nursing, there's always somebody has to cover the extra shifts.
And then they'll complain that it's them that's doing it.
And they'll go in and they'll do it and then they'll grumble about it.
Martyr complex.
Which is victim. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Anybody who is physically ill has some victim consciousness at play. And it might not be a popular statement, and it's the truth.
Bullying others is a way of being in control, and it's that thing that Wendy said, because the victim feels out of control, so they have to do something that gets them control back.
Mm-hmm. Rescues others, whether they want it or not, don't they, Linda?
Oh, they do. And especially if they're in that child energy that's the parent.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
She did.
As I was telling everybody last night about my child, or was it yesterday? I don't know when, because the days are all merging together. But my child energy and my parent-child energy and my rescue energy. My God, I was responsible for the whole world, and I was going to save you, whether you wanted it or not.
Yes. Yeah. And the victim will avoid conflict. So that's what it goes when we say it's the coward, that they'll run away, that they'll not. And in many ways, I was in victim consciousness as I said at the time that I left my husband, because I literally just left the house. And it wasn't as in sorting things out, getting things done way. It was just literally, I left.
So the thing that you can do about this today's first step is to recognize where victim consciousness is at play in your life or in the lives of people around you. Because the first step is always
awareness.
So let's move on to the actions for today's task. So what we would like you to do is to monitor your own language and thoughts and give 3 examples of victim consciousness where it lies in your interactions today.
And if it's not your thoughts and your language, it's the other people's thoughts and language. Because whether it triggers you or whether it doesn't, it's about just getting familiar with what is the victim shadow consciousness.
And then put at least 1 in the comments, please. And then
underneath this particular video.
And then, of course, to learn how to deal with it, join us tonight for the live. Because at the night sessions, we have interaction. Join the link. I'll put the link in again for tonight for the Zoom. Mm-hmm. Join the Zoom link, and then you can actually talk directly so that we can actually find out and you can ask questions. Yeah, and we can give you examples of how you can transmute or begin transmuting
the process of transmuting your shadow.
Okay, and we'll also be giving you more details on the program. And I'm going to post on here. The program is the Becoming You, the Great Fucking I Am. That is the life-changing program that follows on And this
from
is
this 5 days.
Yeah, because this is actually the start of our program and a little bit more.
Yeah.
This is the induction plus a little bit more. So you're sort of well into the beginning of that, ready to get the maximum and optimum benefit from doing it. And the good news that we didn't put on last night is that the program is generally £850 for everybody else. But because you've joined us here, until Sunday night, it will be available at £700.
Yeah.
So speak to you all tonight. Take care.
Bye-bye. Oh, it stops. Oh, okay.
So we've finished screen sharing. Bye-bye, people.
Bye.